I always read the book in advance quietly. And then we go on the retreat. I read the same book aloud again. And I'm like, I missed like so much detail in this book. It's like kind of freaking me out. And on Page Break, you have 15 different audiobook narrators sitting in a circle with you, basically. Right. And it's unlike an audiobook only, and it's not like reading only. It's actually the two together. So it just creates this really rich, like close reading of the book. And authors, when they come on Page Break, multiple authors always are like, wow, you guys like really read the book. Like, you know, they were like, you were in it. Like, you're asking me questions that I haven't even like considered because of like the level of depth that we're really getting into the pages and like the way things are phrased and like the minute details that you don't get when you just do it on your own.
Welcome to The Stacks, a podcast about books and the people who read them. I'm your host, Tracy Thomas, and today I am joined by Mikey Friedman. Mikey is the founder of Page Break, a New York-based weekend-long retreat centered on reading one novel together out loud as a community. Today, Mikey and I talk about his inspiration behind Page Break, his goals for the future of the retreat, and some books that have shaped his life as a reader. Plus, we share a special announcement. Mikey will also be returning on Wednesday, November 26th to discuss our November book club pick, We the Animals by Justin Torres. Everything we talk about on each episode of The Stacks can be found in the link in the show notes. If you like this podcast, if you want more bookish content and community, consider joining the Stacks Pack on Patreon and subscribing to my newsletter, Unstacked, on Substack. Each place offers different perks like community conversation, virtual book clubs over on Patreon, and my writing and hot takes on the latest literary and pop culture news on Substack. But no matter which one you join, your support makes it possible for me to make the Stacks every single week. Go to patreon.com/thestacks to join the Stacks Pack and head to tracythomas.substack.com to subscribe to the newsletter. All right, now it's time for my conversation with Mikey Friedman. All right, everybody, I'm really excited today. I am joined by one of my newest friends in the book world universe. His name is Mikey Friedman. He is the creator of Page Break, which is a out loud reading retreat extravaganza. I'm going to let him explain it to you. But first, I just want to say, Mikey, welcome to the Stacks.
Thank you, Tracy. Honored to be here.
I'm honored to have you. I'm so excited. I guess we should, before we even get to Page Break, I want a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What's your relationship to books? Give me just like a little something.
Yeah, I grew up in Amherst, Massachusetts. Okay. I like to always point out Western Mass, not Boston.
Okay, thank you.
And I studied advertising in undergrad at Syracuse and moved to the city to pursue advertising. Worked in ad agencies for 10 years prior to doing Page Break.
Okay.
Still do some marketing freelance stuff to pay for my extravagant lifestyle. But the goal is to do Page Break full time. And I live in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy. Reading I've sort of come into reading later in life, I think, maybe compared to some other guests you've had in the past. But really in college, I started reading more like queer novels and had a few classes that got me excited about reading. And then, the inspiration to launch Page Break, which we'll talk about, was like as much about the experience of bringing people together as it is the books, if not more. And Page Break is a fusion of all my favorite things in one weekend. It's meeting new people, it's amazing restaurant quality meals, it's drinking wine, and it's reading aloud together. So I'm certainly not the most well-read guest you've had on this show, but I'm very passionate about bringing people together through the power of books and reading aloud.
Well, let me tell you a secret. I'm also not the most well-read person I've had on this show.
I don't know about that.
By far. Oh my God, no. I have people on the show and I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, I've never read that. I've never heard of that. I don't know what you're saying. And I just kind of go like this. Oh yeah, wow, I love that.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, and now that I release like some of these video like clips of the show, it can be a little bit embarrassing because I think you can see on my face when I have no idea what the person's talking about.
Right. You used to be able to hide by the audio only format.
I could manifest my voice, and now I'll sometimes watch back the video and I'm like, can't use that clip because you look like an idiot.
Yeah, no rolling your eyes at me, Tracy.
No, that's allowed. It's the rolling eyes is fine. It's the it's the blank stare when someone's like Moby Dick,
like,
and I'm like,
oh,
what's that?
Okay, I love that for you. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Before we get to page break,
Yes.
you and I connected through an earlier guest of the show from this year, Ira Madison III. How do you know Ira?
I met Ira at a dinner in New York through our mutual friend Alex, and we've just become fun New York literary friends. And I remember, I think I was like on the subway or something when I listened to the Stacks episode with you and Ira, and it was like still so early in the page break story. Like I think it was only after the first few tweets, and it was such a pinch me moment for me just to like hear two like really well-known, amazing people in the book world like talking about my project. And so that was so special. And now it's so cool that I get to be on the Stacks too.
I'm so excited. Okay, wait. Take us to the creation of Page Break.
Okay.
You're working in advertising. You're reading a little bit here and there. At what point are you like, I've got an idea. I should start a book retreat weekend extravaganza company?
So it was 2019,
Okay.
before COVID.
Okay.
And I was like just talking to my friend in his kitchen about how I like reading gay novels. I would love to like connect with people in a different way than like just like partying and going out to restaurants in New York, which is like very much core to my activity list, still to this day. But I was like trying to find a new way to meet new people. And I was like, oh, obviously I should join a book club, right? Like that's a thing that people do. But we sort of had this extended conversation about how the idea of joining a book club, if you're like a busy New Yorker and travel a lot and have work events and like the format doesn't always work, and committing to an 8-week meeting in a bookstore in the Lower East Side or virtual, it's just like hard to fit into your schedule.
Yeah.
And it's riddled with a lot of anxiety. And there's some interesting stats as I got into this project of like most book clubs don't last for that reason. Like it's hard logistically. People come in and out. It's maybe not scratching the itch for everyone as much as it could. So then I was like, okay, I'm not going to join a book club actually, like in that same conversation. And then maybe 2 minutes later, he was like, oh, we should also like, I was thinking we could get all of our friends and go upstate for a weekend and have like a cute, fall moment upstate. And I was like, wait, what if we just did the book club in a weekend? So it's like, no one has to do the schedule thing. We can just like knock it out, so to speak. And then we can like really get into it versus like taking breaks and having homework and doing that whole thing. And then I was like, reading retreats are certainly a thing. Like I definitely didn't invent reading retreats.
No.
But I went down this whole rabbit hole and started doing a ton of research on them. And it felt like there weren't any that really appealed to me personally in terms of like my interests and my tastes. And then I came across this organization in the UK called The Reader, which is a NHS funded public health organization that goes into prisons and nursing homes and schools and reads aloud as group therapy for adults.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's so
I know,
cool.
I know, of course they have it figured out. We don't even have healthcare, but they go into, and because it's funded by the NHS, they have all this incredible research because the tax dollars are going towards this service. And like 97, don't quote me on this, 97% of people feel more emotionally connected to each other after leaving one of these sessions. It helps with comprehension. It makes people feel less alone in the world. And then I was like, wait, it is kind of crazy that adults don't read aloud to each other or read aloud, period.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, you might read aloud to your kid.
Yep.
Certainly it's like so innate to how we are raised and how we operate in school. And then when you get to maybe like your early 20s or mid 20s, you just stop reading aloud and it becomes a solitary act. And so I got really excited about this idea of like, what if we did reading retreats, but we actually read the book aloud to each other? And I've always been a big restaurant and wine person. So doing the book themed dinners and wine and those elements were always part of the like very first idea. So that all happened before COVID. I was super excited about doing it. And then COVID. And so I was like, okay, not the time to get 15 strangers to go upstate in a house together. So for literally almost 5 years, I just like took notes in my phone, in my notes app. Someone would bring something up about the literary world or a fun name for something. And it was honestly one of those things that I kind of always thought would just live in the notes app. And then the summer of 2023, I left my agency job in anticipation of getting a client side job that ultimately fell through. And so I took a few months, spent some time with my family over the summer. And I was like, okay, do I want to go back to another agency gig? Do I want to try something else? And I was like, if there's ever a moment in time to give this idea a go, it's now. And Book Talk had already blown up by that point over, COVID. And so it was like end of 2023, I decided to start working on it, launched the brand last March on Instagram and all those things. had the first retreat in April. And now this past weekend, we just hosted our 17th retreat.
Wow. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. You've sort of glossed over this part, but to me, when I'm watching on the internet, because I watch all the retreats on social media like a real stalker.
Thank you.
I've seen a lot of reading retreats. I have never once in my life wanted to go on a reading retreat. Right. I famously also have never once wanted to join a book club. I've been part of 2 book clubs in my entire life. One is the Stacks Book Club, of which I am in charge and have ultimate control over what books we pick, right? Like it's like the most dictatorship style book club ever. I also do have to read all of the books, to be fair, but it's the only book club I've ever been a part of. And the other one is one of my best friends from New York, Sam, who did the show years and years ago. He and I had a book club. It was just the 2 of us, and we would agree to read a book only when we wanted to, and then meet at Chipotle in New York City to discuss. It was again, very like, we're only doing it if we both want to read it. There was no, deviled eggs. There was no like random person who never reads. Like it was like once we'd finished, we'd be like, okay, we've both finished. I'll see you on Wednesday at Chipotle in Midtown. So I've never wanted to be part of a book club. I've never wanted to do a reading retreat. They always look horrible to me. No offense to people who make them. It's just not my vibe. Like it just looks like I don't want to be there. But one of the things that your retreat has, besides amazing locations that are like so picturesque, is the food and the wine situation. So can you just explain to people, because I think I wasn't sure about you. Then I saw the food and wine and I was like, sign me up.
Absolutely. I'm the kind of person who like really sweats the details when I go to an event, or like really pay attention to all the details.
Yeah.
So I just built the type of weekend experience that I would want to have. And so for food and beverage, there's always a featured guest chef on every retreat. And we partner with them in advance to curate custom dinner menus that are themed to the book that we're reading. So we take quotes from the book where maybe they mention like a meatball sub or a head of lettuce, and we like turn those into creations on the plate. And we have 2 book themed dinners for the weekend retreats. And we also do a curated wine pairing for the whole weekend. So we work with a featured wine partner, sometimes a cool sommelier in New York, or someone who owns a wine shop in New York. And I partner with them to basically build the full wine program. There's usually like 12 different wines that we get to taste over the course of the weekend. We also have non-alcoholic options, really cool new space that I'm obsessed with now. But it's all very curated food and wine options. And it's so fun for me because I worked in catering in like high school, but I've never worked in food service, but I've always like idolized being in restaurants, and I could talk forever about that. But it's so fun for me to get to collaborate with chefs and be creative with them, and feel like I get to have my fingerprints on the menu a little bit. And the chefs absolutely love it, because core to creativity, like having structure enables you to be more creative. And so they love sometimes the chef reads the book in full. Sometimes they don't, because they don't have time, but I brief them in with like a whole document that has, here's this ingredient on page 16. Here's the quote that goes with it. Whenever I read a book now, I'm tabbing every time there's a food reference or a wine or anything, so that I can go and produce this sort of like brief. And then I throw in some thought starters. But the chefs love it because they get to step outside of what they typically cook, but then also put their own unique flavors and imprint onto the food. So maybe there's a dish that's referenced that's Italian dish, like pasta dish, for example, but they're a Chinese American chef, and they do a riff on that dish that they would do, at their restaurant, or, the way that they would cook it. And so it's always so fun for me to see the fusion of that, like the inspiration from the author in the book, and then also the chef's own inspiration, and how those things sort of fuse on the plate.
It's so cool. Okay, let's talk about the books you read for Page Break.
Okay.
There are some rules, or there's some guidelines, and then there's also one major rule. Because you've got to read the whole book mostly out loud. It's like 70% you read out loud.
Yeah, 80. This last retreat, we just had one session where we read on our own independently.
So sometimes during the retreat, you're like, okay, sick of you guys. Go to your rooms. Read 50 pages.
I usually do it first thing on Saturday morning. So we arrive on Friday. Saturday morning, like people are still kind of waking up, and we have like a short amount of pages to read, like 30 pages. And I do that so that by that time we're already settled into it. But it's also just nice to get some like alone time with the book and the author, just so you can kind of like digest it in your own way.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we read the entire book cover to cover no homework. I have a strict no homework policy. I'll never read a book on page break where I have to assign reading in advance. Which makes it hard, right? Like sometimes there's a 350 page book that I would love to read on page break, but it's just not going to be a good experience because
that's your main rule. It's got to be under 300, right?
Yeah. Not all pages are created equal, I've learned. But something around there.
And then what else are you prioritizing with the books? How are you deciding? What are you looking at?
Prioritizing debut authors, queer authors, diverse authors, underrepresented authors. It's fun to work with or feature authors that are based in New York because I also do a lot of local programming in the city. And so it's fun to feel like they can be like part of the community with us and come to reunion events that I throw or my reading series, which I could tell you more about too. And it's also good, like I always invite the authors to do a Q&A with us at the retreat. I'm proud to say so far I'm 17 for 17 on author participation, which is so fun. They don't always come in person if they're not available or in town, but sometimes we'll do Zoom. So it's fun to work with like, up and coming New York based authors that might want to come and hang out with us. So this past weekend.
And they're new books. It's all new books.
Oh yeah. All new books, contemporary literary fiction. Should have probably said that first. That's like the sweet spot. I purposely choose fiction because I know you're a big nonfiction girl.
I am. So watch what you say. But
I think my main thing with Page Break is I like that everyone comes in on like equal plane of like not knowing that much about the book and they haven't read it yet. So that's one of the reasons I choose new books. And it's also one of the reasons I choose fiction because if we choose something that's maybe more subject-based or topical, I think some people might be able to be like, well, I actually studied this and this. It sort of like gives a little bit
Then you get assholes and nobody wants an asshole on a reading retreat.
Exactly. Like everyone knows nothing except for me. Because I've read it. And that creates a good vibe. And I also think contemporary literary fiction just gives a lot of entry points for empathy and for like seeing yourself in the characters. Any novel, I think, can do that if it's written well, certainly like historical or the genre of work. But things that are maybe set in a city or deal with friendship dynamics or creation of art in the modern day world or romance or whatever it is, like I think that gives you a lot of ways to empathize. And one of the beautiful parts about Page Break is because we're pausing and discussing as we go, people really open up. And the social science that I talked about earlier a little bit, the main benefit of reading aloud together is vulnerability. It's this small act of vulnerability that lets you feel like you can trust the other people in the circle, even if you don't remember their name yet because you just met a few hours ago. Just by them hearing your voice and you hearing their voice and knowing that it's like that little bit of performance just makes you feel safer once you do it. So then people feel really comfortable opening up about past exes or stuff with their family or whatever it might be. And so it has this almost like deeper community reading of a topic that invites more interesting conversation in.
I'm going to ask a question for people at home listening who are maybe interested in going on a retreat but are scared to read aloud.
Yes.
How long do you have to read out loud?
Yep. So there's usually 15 or 16 people. So it's a pretty intimate circle. We go around the circle and read 2 pages at a time, the left side and the right side. And then when we turn the page, we trade, it goes on to the next person. I will also say this is the first rule of Page Break that I always set up every retreat with is everything is optional. So the entire retreat, if you want to skip a session to call your mother or take a nap, like this is your week. I would say this is your weekend. Got it. You're paying to be here. So it's important to me to make it not feel like school. I think when people hear like reading aloud together, they're like, oh, like I got called on by the teacher and now I'm like embarrassed, but I do everything in my power to not have it feel that way. And reading aloud is part of that. It's also optional. So if it gets to you, you could just say pass. I've had people come and be like, I'm not going to read aloud at first and then change their mind.
Then they want to.
Midway. And I've had the opposite. I've had people like read aloud at first and be like, okay, I tried it. That was fun, but I'm just going to listen. And we're all following along with our own copies in our own, in our hands.
Do you read aloud to yourself at home?
No.
I'm a big proponent of reading out loud.
I should be.
I'm a read aloud lover.
That would be good for my brand. I probably should be. Sometimes if it's like, so I host a reading series called Stage Break. Those are short stories that sometimes like when I'm trying to divide up like the pages on the program that I design, I'll like read it out loud to find natural stopping points. Or occasionally, but no, not really. I should do it more.
Well, okay. So I have a background in the theater. and I love Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And I just taught my first ever Shakespeare class. It ended in
Yeah.
October. It was amazing. But my first rule of Shakespeare is read it out loud. It is transformative to read it out loud. And I deeply believe in that. And when I'm reading a book, like we just read Frankenstein last month for book club, and the text is sort of dense. And at the beginning, I was really struggling, and I was like, I cannot get into this. And I was like, oh, I know what to do. Read it out loud. And I read the first like 30 pages out loud to myself in my home, like fully out loud, not like whisper, but like I fully was like, and then he went to the store, and it is transformative to me. I feel like people are not reading out loud to themselves enough in the world. I think I got more into it also because I have small kids, and so I read out loud to them.
Totally.
And watching them listen, it makes me listen to the stories more. If I were reading it on the page, it should be like, oh, the dog went to the store, the dog did this, the dog did that. But when you have to be like, the dog went to the store and got a bone.
Exactly. It forces you to slow down, which I think is like, we're often skimming when we don't mean to. And it also makes you really appreciate the like rhythm of the sentences and how they fit together, which like, that's, I think, one of the strengths of a lot of writers that I really love, like how the different sentences flow into each other. It has like a nice rhythm to it, which you don't always get when you're just scanning with your eyes. And I always read the book in advance quietly, not aloud. And then we go on the retreat, I read the same book aloud again. And I'm like, I missed like so much detail in this book. It's like kind of freaking me out. I like completely missed this whole character dynamic or whatever it is. And on Page Break, you have 15 different audiobook narrators sitting in a circle with you, basically. Right. And the other thing about the experience from like a comprehension standpoint is it's unlike an audiobook only, and it's not like reading only. It's actually the two together. So like you're getting the audio sense you're listening, but you're also following along in your own copy. So it just creates this really rich, like close reading of the book. And authors, when they come on Page Break, we do the Q&A usually after we finish the book, and there are multiple authors always are like, wow, you guys like really read the book. Like, they were like, you were in it. Like you're asking me questions that I haven't even like considered because of like the level of depth that we're really getting into the pages and like the way things are phrased and like the minute details that you don't get when you just do it on your own. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I'm a fan of what you do.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of the food. I'm a fan of the reading out loud. And, we connected through Ira very early on. I think maybe you'd only done one retreat, and we like got on a Zoom and we chatted, and then we chatted again another time, and I met you in New York in person, and we sort of have been like floating this idea of doing a retreat. And I've been like, I want to do this badly.
Yep.
So we're going to do it.
We're doing it. Stacks break.
In January. We're doing a Stacks break in January. Should we tell them where we're going?
Sure.
It's your first ever non-New York one because I'm a bitch and I said it's got to be California.
No, this is like so bucket list for me. So all 17 retreats have been New York based in New York State, in the Hudson Valley and Catskills and in the city. So for the first ever non-New York trip, we're going to Joshua Tree.
Where I've never been.
Oh, really? Me neither.
I've been to Palm Springs, but I've never actually been to Joshua Tree.
A special collaboration retreat with Tracy Thomas from the Stacks. We're co-curating, co-hosting the weekend together. It's going to be so major.
So we're giving you guys the scoop. We haven't picked our book yet.
Right.
We're not telling you any details yet. That is coming later in November. But if you want to do this, there's only like 15 spots. So just mark your calendar for late January. Put some funds aside. It's going to be really good. I'm so excited. Truly, I've never been, like I said, I don't want to go on a reading retreat. I don't want to be in a book club. And yet here I am, like so gassed up about this one.
Joshua Tree is like the perfect kind of like, people so often say like going on Page Break feels sort of like summer camp. Like it has this sort of like magical, like joyful energy to it. And I feel like Joshua Tree has that kind of like inherent mystical desert vibe. And it's just going to be so fun to be out there and like, and
it's really cold at night in Joshua Tree, but then it's like warm in the daytime. I'm like, it's gonna be perfect.
And we do this on every retreat. We usually do like yoga and maybe a hike in the woods in New York State. But what an amazing backdrop at Joshua Tree for us to explore and do all the fun kinds of fun activities. Who leads the yoga? Either a local instructor from upstate, or sometimes this past weekend I had a guest who's a friend of a friend who came on the retreat, and he's also a yoga instructor. So I just had him lead us, which was so fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Before we move off Page Break, because we've got to get to your taste in books and everything, this is just a hypothetical. If you could have your dream Page Break anywhere in the world, any book, any chef, you get to decide, what would you create? And you don't even have to stick to a new book. It could be like an older thing that you can have a little latitude because you might,
Yeah. Well, I've certainly always fantasized about doing like a destination Page Break, which is kind of what we're doing for Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
But the real fantasy is, and this will hopefully happen one day, but like doing Page Break trip, like travel company type trips. So
got it.
We would go to Rome, let's say, for 6 nights.
Okay.
And it would be a comparative literature experience. So we'd go to Rome, we'd read a book set in Rome in 1929 and discuss it together. We'd eat at amazing restaurants in Rome and have the chefs do the book themed dinners and like move our way through Rome reading a book. And then the second half of the trip, we'd stay in Rome, but we'd read a book set in like 2024, also set in Rome. And we sort of like talk about the difference of place and difference of time and like do comparative literature on the go, which I think is like such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Obviously it's like a lot more complicated logistically, but
yeah. Okay, that'll be our next Stacks break. The Rome.
That'll be next time. Yeah.
I think I want to do Paris though for mine.
Okay. All right. I'm going to Paris today.
Though I do. Anyway, honestly, I'll go wherever you want me to go. I'm along for the ride.
But yeah, that's definitely the fantasy plan eventually. And like, I also want to do one that is in like Ski Mountain. And we can read some kind of like mystery murder Ski Mountain thing. And I still haven't done a beach one because honestly, it's hard to get beach venues in summer because it's like peak season everywhere. But that's going to happen. We'll read like a steamy beach read.
Well, if you come back to California, you could do beach like in October because it's literally going to be 90 degrees here tomorrow. And we're recording this on October. It's going to be 90 degrees here today. We're recording this on October 28th. It's going to be 90 degrees all weekend. So you could do beach October.
Good to know.
We're having a 90-degree Halloween, people.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. We love
I love that for
climate change.
I'm up 4 seasons. I need all 4 seasons.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard of a season, except for when I lived in New York. And even then, I was like, well. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk even more about books. Valentine's Day is upon us, and I've got love on the brain. Love for books. Duh, of course. Hello. Did you forget what podcast you're listening to? I love bringing you all great reads, exclusive author interviews, and behind the scenes book gossip. But I can only do that with your support over on Patreon and Substack. Our Stacks Patreon community, also known as the Stacks Pack, is where you can go for book club meetups, a private, very active Discord, and a year-long mega reading challenge to help you achieve all your reading goals. Plus, you also get that monthly bonus episode. Now, over on the Substack, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Unstacked, where I keep the book conversations going. I also give you a healthy dose of sports and pop culture, definitely some hot takes happening over there. And again, that bonus episode. If you don't have a few dollars to spare, don't worry. There are free options on the Substack and the Patreon to get you a little extra Stacks magic. Making this podcast is a total team effort, and by supporting my Patreon and my Substack, you allow me to support my amazing team that makes the show possible every single week. So if you or your friends are looking to meet other book lovers and support this indie podcast, come hang out with me on Patreon, Substack, or both. I would love to have you. And since we're talking about love, you can gift subscriptions to the Patreon and the Substack for that special reader in your life. For the Stacks Pack, head to patreon.com/thestacks. And for the newsletter, head to tracythomas.substack.com. And also, there are links to both in the show notes. Okay, see you in the Stacks. Okay, we're back. Before we get to your tasting books, we're going to do something we call Ask the Stacks, where someone has emailed asking for a book recommendation. I'm going to read you their email. I'm going to give them 3 recommendations. You can give them 1, 2, 3. And for people at home, I am desperate for more Ask the Stacks emails. So if you write to askthestacks@thestackspodcast.com, tell us what you're looking for. We'll read your emails on air. So this one comes from Lauren, and it says, love the pod. Obviously had to include that because I'm a psycho.
Obviously.
I was really inspired by the site-specific reading you did for your trip to Germany last summer, and I took up the practice for a trip I did last fall and loved it. So fun. Thank you. I am seeking recommendations for books that are set in specific places and related to its history or culture. Fiction or nonfiction recs are welcome. The only genre I don't vibe with is true crime. Obviously, I saved this one for you. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first and then you can think for a second?
You go first. I'll think for a second.
Okay, so I picked 3 different site-specific places in the United States. The first one is There by Tommy Orange. It is about my hometown of Oakland, California, and it's about the indigenous community. They're preparing for a powwow, and it's about a few different people. It's like an interconnected, multi-perspective book. And I love it because I love Oakland, and I loved seeing Oakland in this way. And this book is so Oakland. So there's one. Another one that I picked is called The Barn by Wright Thompson. And this is borderline true crime, Lauren, but I'm going to say it's not true crime. It is about the murder of Emmett Till. And Wright Thompson is from Mississippi, from the area where this happened. And he takes the barn where Emmett Till was killed, and he sort of like goes out and out and out and out around the place, the people. He tells the history of the land, the history of Emmett Till's family, the history of the family of the people who killed him. And it's so beautiful, and it really takes place like desperately seriously. So if you are interested in like getting into a place, this is one of the most place-based books I've ever read. And then the last one is one of my favorite books this year. I keep being like, this is not the best book, but it's my favorite book, or one of my favorite books. But the more I think about it, the more I just love it. It's called The Gods of New York. It's by Jonathan Mailer. It's about 1986 to 1990 in New York City. It's about Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Spike Lee, Ed Koch. I think the subtitle is like Egotists and Scammers. And it's all about New York City in this moment. It's written almost like a tabloid. He's not judgy, but he's really got a point of view about everybody. I freaking love this book. It talks about all the New Yorkiest New York things. It makes New York City in 2025 make more sense. It makes Donald Trump in 2025 make more sense. It's just a wild ride. It is so much fun. If you're going to New York, you should read this book because you'll have a better time in New York. So those are my 3 recs. Mikey, what do you got?
I know. I was trying to think of things that aren't New York based because I was like, I don't know, that doesn't feel like a specific enough place because that's like my whole universe. But we read There Are Reasons for This by Nini Burnt on one of our retreats from Tin House. And it's set in Denver in the not so distant future. So Lauren, if you like sort of slightly dystopian climate fiction a little bit, we devoured the book. I think it's really underrated, and it gives an interesting look at Denver in the future.
I love that.
A little depressing maybe, but
I love that. Did you read Tilt?
No.
It's also climate fiction set in Portland, I think. I haven't read it yet. It's teeny tiny though. It would actually probably be a good book.
Yeah.
Look how small
I've actually never been to Portland. Isn't that crazy?
It's a teeny tiny.
Oh yeah, I recognize the cover. Nice.
Anyways, maybe read Tilt also, Lauren. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Lauren, if you read any of those books, let us know. Everyone else, please, please, please email askthestacks@thestackspodcast.com for your questions so we can recommend books to you. All right, now it's your turn. Mike, you're in the hot seat. 2 books you love, 1 book you hate.
Books I love. One book that always has a special place in my heart because it was the first book that we did a test page break with before I even launched, just like with me and a few of my friends sitting in the living room. Open Throat by Henry Hoke. A very slim book about a queer mountain lion that lives in LA, inspired by the true story of the mountain lion that was like hanging out in LA.
P22.
Yes, thank you. P22.
Okay, you're in LA.
Well, I think earlier when I was describing the book, I called him the mountain lion KN95.
The mask.
The mask, which is actually not.
My library card has that mountain lion on it because when he died, the LA Public Library released special edition library cards, and I went back and I was like turning in this basic ass card to get my P22.
It's brilliant. It's such a distinct voice. I also love when authors play with form on the page, and it's like really creatively done. And Henry Ho's coming out with a new book, I think, next year
at FSG again with Jackson.
Yeah, I think so. Jackson.
His name's Jackson Howard, and he's up and coming. He's like this young editor at FSG, and he is just like killer.
Every single title he puts out, I try to read or I absolutely love.
It's an unreal. Okay, what's another book you love?
How to Write an Autobiographical Novel by Alexander Chee.
We've done that here for book club.
I love that book. I've been handing it out to friends recently. Just like my friends come to my apartment and just like grab books from my stacks because I have so many.
Sure.
And it's been making its way around my circles, and everyone is reminding me through their review how amazing that book is. And like, yeah, she is an amazing writer. And a book that I hate, Harry Potter.
Woohoo! We love to hear it. I've never read it. I've never read a single Harry Potter.
Oh, good. I'm telling that gross turf witch can fuck off.
I feel like we need someone to write the like fan or like anti-fan fiction about her. Like that she is the evil witch at the center of like, I don't know anything about Harry Potter. So like a wizard witch. Do wizards have witches? Are wizards witches? What?
I don't know. Fantasy's not my bag. I mean, like that was like, I never liked Harry Potter just in general because that's like not my thing. And then of course, just her politics make it even easier to not like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good writers out there. You have to be really good. I want like the best takedown anti-fan fic of the Wizard Witch of the West. Okay. What kind of reader are you? Like how much are you reading? Are you reading every day, or are you sitting down in one day and like just knocking out a book and then not reading again for a week?
I'm reading mostly every day. And I do almost all my reading on the subway.
Okay. Physical book, audiobook, Kindle.
Physical book, ideally paperback ARC. I basically read ARCs now that dominate my reading schedule because I'm always looking for my next retreat pick, which is fun. I wish I had more time to read things that have been on my... I mean, everyone has that feeling, but more things that are like on my TBR forever. But I don't know, I like having the new thing. I can admit that. And so, ideally paperback ARC on the subway. Makes it easy to just like throw in my bag. And I have Kindle for NetGalley and stuff if I need to, like if I like really want to check a book out and I don't have the physical copy yet. And I rarely do audiobooks, but sometimes I will do like tandem reading either at the same time or I'll like trade off. Like I'll, start with reading it and then I'll pick it up with the audiobook and then go back. Okay.
What's the last just like absolutely great book you've read?
Audition by Katie Kitamura. That book's a banger.
I need to read it. I've been putting off reading it. I didn't think I was going to read it. And now I'm just feeling like I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, now I need to read Intimacies. I haven't read that. Have you?
I do have that one.
Okay.
I've not read it. I've never read anything by her.
I think Audition is so brilliant because it takes a really simple idea and its execution is like, so it's like moving. It's like, it really makes you feel you're in like a scene of a horror movie almost. Like the anticipation of what's about to happen is really intense, but the idea on its surface is quite simple. Just like, how do we perform for each other and like the different roles that we play?
I need to read it. I gotta do it. Okay, I gotta bite the bullet.
She's so chic too. I love her.
Yeah, she's so. She got like dragged because she said she used like really expensive like lip gloss and like not relatable.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, we need fancy, unrelatable authors. 100%. Okay?
I'm like, it's working. Go off.
It's working. She's like, yes, chic is in, as I say in my frumpy shacket.
Yeah, wearing
and my sweatshirt t-shirt. So
chic is in.
Chic is so in. What are you reading right now? And do you read multiple books at a time?
I do. I do not. I like have no qualms about not finishing books.
Okay.
So I'm usually like super sampling like 2 or 3 books at a time, usually 2, and kind of going back and forth and seeing how I feel and getting to like, 50 to 70 pages into a book before I decide if I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm reading Eradication by Jonathan Miles,
Okay.
which is an arc potentially for our January retreat. We'll
Okay.
see.
I don't even know about this, so
Yeah.
I'm excited.
The concept is interesting.
Okay.
A man sent to a desert island to eradicate invasive species of goats.
Ooh. Okay.
And
Weird.
It's eerie. Yeah, it seems really eerie and interesting. And then I'm also I've like little chapters of Love and Exile by Sean Fay, which is another.
Oh, okay. Another Jackson book.
Howard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like I have a lot to learn about love and relationships, and I hope this book will teach me.
Okay, it's a self-help moment.
It's a self-help moment for me. Well, just like
self-help literary nonfiction.
I like books like that are like essays or like little like short chapters, especially for nonfiction. I can just kind of like throw it in my bag, read on the train, whatever.
Yeah, totally. How do you pick your next book? Or like, where are you sourcing books from?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of publishers getting their catalogs and sort of like seeing what's coming out in the future. I stock like all the lists that are published, like there's like preview guides and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm on TikTok, which like is maybe not as, I honestly feel like I'm maybe the best resource for up and coming art books, because like I'm publishing Retreat Radar every 3 months, where I like publish like the 20 books that are coming out, but it's like it's not from one direct source. It's all like different things like cobbled together. And by best resource, I mean like for my type of books, not for all books, but
right.
Yeah.
I love a preview list. I love like
how do you do it?
I'm always so excited. I do the same thing as you. I get the catalogs from the publishers. I comb through all of them. If they send them to me, I comb through them. I prefer that than like the random pitch emails, because I just some days I'm just like, I don't want to read this. I'm throwing it in a folder.
Yeah.
But the catalogs, I like sit down, I get my tea, and I go through and I add them to my spread. I have a spreadsheet. And then, when the Millions list comes out, or the Lit Hub list comes out, or Aro Kwan used to write like a great list of women and non-binary authors books coming out like for the following year.
That's cool.
I look at what the New York Times is talking about. I'll listen to their podcast, and I'm also on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly just like looking at things. When books show up at my house, I'm touching them, I'm looking at them, I'm thinking about them.
Yeah.
And then I make my own lists like that I publish on my Substack every last Friday, or like the last Friday before pub day. I go through and I write a roundup of like, this is what's coming in the next month.
Yeah.
Here are the things I'm excited about. I try to keep it really short. And then I also will like highlight anything that I've already started or read, like being like, I'm excited about this and I've actually read into it, but there's no rhyme or reason. And then sometimes I'm just like, I want to read this book.
Yeah, totally. So it's just like occurs to me. I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah.
It's still kind of a mystery to me how I choose what to actually read next. Like I don't have a ranked list or anything. I'm just kind of like looking around my apartment and being like, maybe that is what I'll take with me. It's like very intuitive in that way.
What's a book that you love to recommend to other people?
I think of Beautyland by Marie Helene Bertino. I've yet to recommend that to someone who didn't text me like a month later and be like, I absolutely love this book.
You haven't recommended it to me, thankfully, because I won't like it.
Okay. Why do you say that?
I don't know. I've just heard too much about it. I think it's not for me. I think it's too slow for me. I know the ending has a good payoff, but I don't think I'll be able to get there.
Yeah, it's touching and creative. And
have you met me? Do I seem touching and creative to you? I'm so far from touching.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, that's the thing about books is like, especially for me, and I'm sure you feel this way, like when you read as much as I read, I'm just really good at like fine tuning my taste. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I might decide I'm not going to like something, and then I end up reading it and I do like it. But most of the time I can tell before I go in. And I've heard this book is amazing and a lot of people I know love it. I just think it's everything I've been told, it makes it sound like it's too slow for me and like too just like vibes.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I've recommended it to people who
were
like, I like vibes. And I'm like, oh, you might like Beautyland, a book I've never read.
Right. It seems like you might like this.
Yeah, this seems like you.
That's like the art of the recommendation for sure. I mean, I'm doing that too.
Totally.
Like, I haven't read this yet, but you might like it.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite bookstore?
The Bureau of General Services Queer Division.
What's that? I've never even heard of that.
Okay, so inside the center in the West Village, the LGBT
Okay.
center, on the
Okay.
second floor, there's an all queer bookstore.
Whoa.
We call it the Bureau. Full
Okay.
name, Bureau of General Services Queer Division.
Okay.
And it's adorable. It's run by this couple. It's been in service of like 15 years or maybe even
Wow.
more. And they host community events and readings, and every single book in the store is queer. And they also have a rotating art exhibit on the walls of the Bureau that they like swap out every 6 months. And I'm actually a volunteer there because it's all volunteer run.
Oh my gosh.
So I will occasionally,
love this.
I know, well, I will occasionally pick up a random shift there. I went to an author talk there, and Greg, co-owner of the Bureau, like gives a spiel, and it's like, oh, by the way, we're a volunteer run bookstore. So if anyone in the audience wants to like get involved and help out and pick up shifts, let us know. And I was, just getting Page Break off the ground. And I was like, what a great place to be hanging out in, and like an amazing queer bookstore, and like meeting people who come in and just like getting to spend time around books. So I've been volunteering there now for like over a year. Yeah, a year and a half. It's so fun.
That's so cool. I've literally never heard of this place.
Yeah. Next time you're in New York, we'll go. The owners are so great. I love them. It's so fun to just like see people coming in from all parts of the world or from the city, and just like having a safe space where they can explore all kinds of queer books, like fiction, nonfiction, art books, comics, poetry, everything.
Done. Yep. New favorite bookstore. I love it.
Amazing.
Okay, what's the last book that you purchased?
Oh, I purchased Unfit by Ariana Harwich.
Is this the book about being a disabled parent?
It's about the mom who like steals the twin boys back from her husband and goes on like a crazy road trip. It's a
This is a novel.
Yes.
Sorry. There's a book called Unfit Parent that I think is about disability and parenting.
Okay, no, not that one. This is a translated novella, and actually, I'm always looking for slim novellas to read on Daybreak, because they also host the one-day retreats in New York. So I've had good luck with translated fiction. We read Boulder by Eva Baltazar and Role Play by Clara Drummond. Oh
my God, have you read Hunchback yet?
No, I haven't. It's so short. It's almost too short.
It's so good.
Okay, I'm going to read it.
Just read it. Yeah. Even if you don't do it for Daybreak or anything, just read it. It is so good.
Okay, I'm going to read it. Yeah, it's on my radar. It
is very short.
And depressing?
It's fucked up.
Yeah. You love that.
I don't think it's depressing. I think it's like twisted. Okay, cool. Like it's like dark.
All right.
I love that book.
And actually, we just read Perfection by Vincenzo Latronico on our last.
Oh, okay.
So I've done a lot of translated novellas now that I think about it.
What's the last book that made you laugh?
Herculean this past weekend.
That was your page
we read
break book?
Herculean by Grace Byron. Everyone absolutely loved it. Reading book, like it's a book about the demons that haunt us and trauma and being trans, and like it's horror, using horror and the like demonic devices as a way to sort of explore that. But Grace is it's like in the first part of the book, like the like internet girl novel. And it's so funny, like Grace's observations about the art world, or like the way that people move around New York, and like just like being able to read it in a group format. We were like cackling, laughing. Which is just it's such a treat to get that from a book.
What's the last book where you felt like you learned a lot?
Oh, in college, I read The Life and Death of Great American Cities by Jane Jacobs.
Oh.
That's like my brainiest book that I love. Because I think if I were to go back to school, it would be for like urban studies.
Yeah.
And like how cities work. Have you read it?
So you do like nonfiction.
Yeah, I think I do. I need to look at your guide.
I know. Maybe we should do nonfiction for our thing. Like essays, personal essays.
No.
Okay.
I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay. I'll wait. What about a book that brings you joy?
Joy?
What's that? Sounds awful.
I mean, another funny book. We read Worry by Alexandra Tanner.
Oh.
It was very funny.
Okay. What about a book that you feel proud to have read?
The Power Broker by Rob Turow.
You did it.
I did it.
Wow. Another nonfiction. I've never done it.
In college.
I can't do it. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. You don't need to.
I feel like I need to. I'm
really?
a nonfiction person. I feel like I gotta like read it.
Yeah.
I read Executioner Song. That was the massive nonfiction that I opted into a few years ago. I got a wrist injury from reading it because the book is so big, and I was like trying to read it in bed.
I
was like on a trip, and I was like, my wrist hurts.
Yeah. We need slim paper. You know. I'm into slim paperbacks that you can like put in your purse. Yeah.
You could read like 8 page break books for one Executioner Song or one Power Broker. Is there any book that's like on your bookish bucket list? Like a book you're just like, I got to read this one.
It comes to mind because Limousine Podcast, you know, the Limousine Podcast. Okay, but let me plug the Limousine Podcast. They're great. Okay. Heather and Leah, shout out. They host a reading series in New York, and they have an amazing podcast as well. They did an Anna Karenina book club over the last You did that too. Okay.
We did it as just like a regular book club pick, but I gave people 2 months to read it instead of 1 month.
Yeah, and honestly, I had no interest in reading it before getting glimpses of some of their episodes. Like, I didn't stick around for the whole episode, but like just hearing them talk about it, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to read that.
It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But
I'm so bad at classics. I probably have like 2. I can think like 2 that I've read.
Okay, can I plug a classic that I think you would love?
Please.
Frankenstein.
Okay.
Frankenstein is first of all, it's slim. It's like 200 pages. Yep. It is a banger. Okay. I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot stop talking about it.
Oh my God, I love this.
I loved Frankenstein. I think you would love it. It's a sad boy novel.
Yeah.
It's a little gay. It's actually a little gay.
We love a sad little gay novel.
Yeah, it's a sad little gay novel. And it was written by a teenage girl. Do you know that? Mary Shelley was like 19 when she wrote it. So it's also like a little bit like punk rock in some ways because it's like a teenage girl being like
emo girl.
It's very emo. I kept texting friends being like, is the monster just like the saddest sad boy ever? Like, is this just a like emo book? Yeah. And everyone was like, it is. And I was like, okay.
Mary Shelley shopped at Hot Topic.
1,000%. Like the saddest girl. Anyways, I think you'd like it.
Okay,
it'll save you 800 pages on Anna Karenina. And I think it's way better.
Okay, I love that. Well, this is the second year I've done a spooky Halloween retreat. So maybe next October we'll do Frankenstein.
It's worth it. It is so worth it. I have 2 more questions for you. One is that if you were a high school teacher, what is the book you would assign in school?
I was going to say The Ethical Slut.
I love it.
Or Jane Jacobs, I think.
I don't know that.
The Life and Death of Great American Cities. No, it's so boring. That's not a good high school book.
No, it might
be.
Ethical
Slut.
Ethical Slut.
Yeah.
And then last one. If you could require the current president of the United States of America to read one book, what would it be?
I can't tell if he would read this and hate it or love it, but I think Rejection by Tony Tulamute.
Okay. He would read it and he would hopefully see himself a fucking loser.
Yeah. The great incel novel of our time.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I love it. Everybody, Mikey will be back on Wednesday, November 26th. We are discussing We the Animals by Justin Torres. It is his debut novel. It is super slim, party people. It is page break material, a teeny tiny gay book set in upstate New York.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. You've never read any Justin Torres?
Never.
Me neither.
And it's like I've always been like, I need to read Blackouts. I need to read We the Animals. So
me too.
This is perfect.
And also not to objectify people, but Justin Torres is so hot.
Yes.
Everybody go ahead and Google Justin Torres. Okay. He is so hot. I've met him like twice in person, and I think he's even made hotter because he's chic. And he's one of those people with that like really warm, light energy where you meet them and you're like, oh, you're a lovely human. Like he just instantly you're like, oh, I can see goodness in your spirit. Okay, we're out of here.
So
Mikey,
fun.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited about everything you're doing. I'm excited that we're going to do something together, and I'm excited about reading We the Animals. So this is just, it's all excitement.
Me too. I'm so glad we get to spend so much time together in the next few months.
Yay.
So
and everyone else, we will see you in the stacks. All right, y'all, that does it for us today. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you again to Mikey Friedman for joining the podcast. Our book club pick for November is We the Animals by Justin Torres. And Mikey will be returning as our guest for that discussion on November 26th. If you love The Stacks and want inside access to it, head to patreon.com/thestacks to join the Stacks Pack and check out my newsletter at tracythomas.substack.com. Make sure you're subscribed to The Stacks wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a rating and a review. For more from The Stacks, you can follow us on social media at The Stacks Pod on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And now we're on YouTube. And you can check out our website at thestackspodcast.com. This episode of The Stacks was edited by Christian Duenas with production assistance from Sahara Clement. Our graphic designer is Robin McCrite, and our theme music is from Tigirigis. The Stacks is created and produced by me, Tracy Thomas.